Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Explore the Bible with me. Happy Friday, everybody. We made it. Tomorrow's the weekend. And I think it's a perfect time to talk about what we're going to talk about today. I have a few questions for you. Does God need to sleep? Does God need to rest? Does God need to take a break? Does God need to take a vacation? The answer to all those questions is no, he doesn't. He never needs to rest. But that brings me to another question. Then why does the Bible specifically point out that God does rest? In Genesis chapter 2, verse 1 through 4, that's what we're going over today, is specifically about God resting. I'm going to read the verses to you. So creation of the heavens and earth and everything in them was completed. On the seventh day, God had finished his work of creation. He rested from all his work, and God blessed the seventh day and declared it holy, because it was the day when he rested from all his work of creation. This is the account of the creation of the heavens and the earth. It says multiple times here that God rested, and it could easily be taken as he needed a break. I mean, look at all what he did. 7 days. He created the entire earth. He created the sun, the moon, the sky. He created the seas and the lands and the animals and the plants and even us as humans. So it would establish the fact that he did need to rest, but that's not what he's actually showing us. Because God does not need to rest, but we do. This is a lesson for us. This is a lesson that we need to take and we need to hold on to, especially in a culture like ours. Our culture promotes work, work, work. It promotes the harder you work, the more people recognize you. You know, in some jobs, if you work 40 hours, you're not doing enough. You got to work 80 hours. And you got to work really hard to get that promotion. Or you've got to finish that never-ending to-do list. I don't know about you, but do you have a to-do list that seems to never stop? I'll write down 6 things on my to-do list. And then I'll get to the 6th thing and I'll check it off, and then I'll look around and go, oh, well, I still haven't done whatever. I still haven't finished everything that I could finish. So I add another 6 things. And when I'm done with those 6 things that had now turned into 12, I add some more, because we need to be in control of that part of our lives. And God is telling us to do the opposite. He's telling us to stop, to rest. We don't have to work 80 hours. He is going to take care of us. We don't have to have that never-ending, never-stopping to-do list. He's going to take care of us. And we see this many times in the Bible where God literally tells us to rest, to stop, to separate a time that is just for us to recharge. He had to add it to the 10 Commandments because we still weren't learning that we need to rest. We'll see it with the Israelites in a future episode that they were told by God, for 6 days, collect the manna that came from heaven. But on the 7th day, do not collect anything. Just rest. Why does he show us this? Because we need a day to remind ourselves that he is the one in control. We are not. I think about my life, and I think about the things that I have to do. I work for myself. So that means I have to make sure the episodes all go up at the same time. I have to make sure that the scripts are written and all of these things. And sometimes I can get stuck into, I just have this one more thing. And as I try to sleep, it replays over and over in my mind. I got to get up the next morning. I've got to do this. I've got to get it done. God is telling us to not let this happen, because the more we do this, the more we focus on work and only work, the more anxious we can get, the more irritable we can get. Sleep is very, very important for us. Sleep is something that scientifically proven that we need. When we have lack of sleep, or if we don't sleep at all, bad things can start happening to our bodies. You can't go without sleep. And I remember when my kids were really little, when they were babies and they were waking up every 2 hours, I was exhausted constantly because my body never got the chance to recharge. And I remember the best piece of advice I ever got was when my oldest son was a baby, and he would be up hours at night. And someone looked at me and said, when he sleeps, you sleep. When he's resting, you rest. And that was the best piece of advice for me because I wanted to be that perfect mom. I wanted to be up and awake and doing laundry and all of these things, and I just couldn't. We get that because of the fact that we need to recharge our batteries. Yes, there are times where we need to go on vacation. We need to have a break from the things we do. Even if we love the things we do, we need to step back and we need to be able to go, okay, Lord, I cannot stay awake 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can, but I can't. So I'm going to entrust in you that whatever it is that's keeping my mind racing, that you're in control of it. And that's easier said than done, especially when you feel the weight of the world on your shoulders. Work is not a bad thing. God gave us a job. We saw that in yesterday's episode. Also, episodes beforehand, that God gave us a job to take care of the earth. God is also pointing out to us that we need rest. And yes, sometimes it can go on the flip side. Sometimes we can rest too much and not work enough. And sometimes we can sit there and get sucked into a show and binge watch this show for hours and nothing gets done. And that's not good also, because we do need to work. God showed us that. But we need a balance. We need to know we can't stay up forever, but we need to also know that we need to work hard. Now, when I say work hard, I mean, yes, work to your potential. Do what you can do, but don't overstress yourself. Don't put yourself into a situation where you're getting irritable at the people around you because you want to do everything. We know that God is in control, and we see that, and we need to understand that it is okay to take care of ourselves. It is okay to rest. And I keep repeating this over and over again because I feel like if we don't get this mindset, we'll just work ourselves to the bone. And that's kind of what our culture promotes. It promotes picking ourselves up by our bootstraps, pushing hard. And if we're exhausted, push through the exhaustion because that shows that we have perseverance. God doesn't want us to do that. God created us with his love. God created us for that rest. So why are we going to go against what God wants us to do and push ourselves way past what we can handle? I don't know about you, but I struggle with this, I think, the most. Some have called me a workaholic. And I agree with them, to be honest with you. I work so hard, and sometimes I forget that I need to rest. Sometimes I forget that I can walk away for a few moments and nothing bad's going to happen. Again, work is not a bad thing. But when we turn that work into an idol, when we start worshiping that job or thinking that our bank account is going to rescue us, that's when it turns into something that is not good. We need to rely on God to take care of us. We need to rely on God to rescue us, not money, not our job, not our promotions, not anything like that. He's the one who created this planet for us. He never sleeps so that we can sleep. He never rests so that we can rest. We have a God who literally does not need a vacation, but who reminds us over and over again that we do. God also reminds us of the joys that life is, the joys that we have. In the Bible, he talks about festivals and feasts and celebrations. And sometimes if we are so focused on working, we forget that we do need to have those moments, those joys in our life where we can just relax. I think about summer. And I think about barbecues or time at the lake or time in the pool. And none of that stuff is me working. None of that stuff is me doing anything for my job. But it's recharging me. It's taking me out of work and it's putting me with people who I enjoy spending time with. But sometimes I catch myself thinking, oh no, if I do this, then I'm not going to be able to get things done. And God is reminding us that we need to focus on what he is teaching us. We need to focus and we need to pray about finding that work, rest, balance. So I hope today, on a Friday, you can find that balance. It is going to be the weekend. And I hope for even just a moment, you guys can take a deep breath, step back, look at the beauty of creation and realize that you can rest. Give yourself that permission. And I say that because guess what? We have to give ourselves that permission because we don't want to rest. We want to keep working. So rest today or tomorrow and realize that it's okay to take a break. Hope you guys have a great day, and I hope you have a great weekend, and I will talk to you on Monday.